Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all, wherever you're joining from. Thank you for joining us this week too. And it was great to have a lot of you who had joined us in the earlier webinar, right? So it's wonderful to have you back here. And we will talk about the power of the mind today, as you all would have seen in the poster on what the topic for today is going to be. And the very fact that you have signed up for this, I'm sure you'd be interested in knowing how to get to that deepest power that we all have that we can unearth, right? All right. So that's what we're going to start with today, the power of the mind. And before we start, so I think most of you know me by the poster as well as the last session that we had. So my name is Raji Iyengar. I've been in the IT industry for over 37 years, been a meditator for almost 2 decades, had some wonderful experience in the corporate and in the workplace with my meditation. And this is something that we wanted to take this out and share with others as well. Yeah, so that's what it is. So welcome everyone again formally. I wanted to start our meeting with something that we can all relate to. Imagine that we have set an alarm for 6 a.m. in the morning with the intent of exercising or with the intent of going for a morning walk or a morning jog, and all this with absolute certainty, right? That we're going to start this before we get to work or before we start the day. And you feel so motivated, you feel so much in control, and set the alarm and gone to bed. But then 6 a.m. the next morning comes, the alarm goes off, and then what happens? What happens is this. That's the annoying sound of the alarm in the morning, and you're trying to press the snooze button, want to get that extra 5 minutes, don't want to wake up, right? And a completely different version of you wakes up in the morning compared to what it was the previous day, right? And this version doesn't care about fitness. This version doesn't care about wanting to go for a walk or exercise or whatever you had planned to do the previous night. This version just wants either a warm bed or a cool bed depending on the weather wherever you are in. Why does this happen? Why does this happen? And this has nothing to do with our intention. Up until the time of us waking up until the time of that we are fully in control, just till the time that we are not in control. Now this is the explanation to this, is that when we look under the hood into how the brain functions, into how the mind functions, and to answer that is what we're going to be talking about today, all of today, this evening. Yeah. So once again, thanks you for joining. Psychologists and neuroscientists, when they talk of the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, typically they take this example of iceberg. The tip of the iceberg, the one that is poking out, is our conscious mind. And believe it or not, this conscious mind is only 5% of our entire mind. The portion which is below the water level is the subconscious mind, which is as much as 95% of our thinking mind, right? So this massive hidden structure is the subconscious mind. And let's call it, if you call it the engine, then this is the one that is really controlling everything, the breathing, the automated habit, all the past patterns. The conscious mind is basically the awareness, all that you're listening to me right now, the audio, the visual, the thinking mind, all the planning that happened that, we're going to wake up at 6 a.m. and go for a jog, do our exercises. All that is the conscious mind, right? That's the mind that is aware with the rational thought, with the short-term memory and all the thoughts and the feelings. I'm feeling good. It's too hot today. All that is the conscious mind. The subconscious mind is all the belief systems, the memories, the habits, the patterns, the one that tells you that, you know what, I know I keep this alarm every time and I'm unable to wake up to it. I know that there is something in me that is not encouraging me to go out there and do what I intend to do. So, in simple words, if we say the conscious mind is the intellectual mind, the subconscious mind is the intuitive mind, right? Now, can we reprogram this subconscious mind? We absolutely can, but let's look at a slightly different version of this conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Let's look at it in a different format. If you imagine that the conscious mind is the ground floor of a building and the subconscious mind is the basement. Take a good look at this picture. So the ground floor is where the conscious, where we live consciously. Let me put it that way. And the part of you that's reading all this is the conscious mind, right? So all the planning, the logical thought, all the logic, all the problem solving, all the intelligence, all the decision making, all this is coming from the conscious mind. And in this building structure, if we put the subconscious mind at the basement of the building, and that is where all, like I said, the previous memories, the past experiences, all the patterns, all the beliefs, all the creativity and intuition, all the habits, the routines, right? That's all there in the basement. And frankly, that basement is what is actually running our life. That basement is running almost everything that is happening in our life, right? So, as we mentioned before, neuroscientists say that 95% of our mind is operated by this basement, and it's just 5% that's operated by the conscious mind. I hope I'm making this a little clear because I don't want you to get confused between, I didn't want to put the brain slide because sometimes that gets very confusing. So try to explain it in a simple format. So this is what the, the cognitive 95% of our cognitive activity, that is the subconscious mind, that's there in the basement. So what is this subconscious? Again, going back to every habit that we formed, from how we tie our shoelace, how we comb our hair, how we dress up. Some things, of course, has been there from younger days, but then you've evolved and you've changed those so-called habits. But yet those habits are all patterns, right? And those habits are all coming in from the subconscious mind. Now, even including the emotional wellness, right? So all the reflexes, the fear, the automatic response to something, the flood of warmth when someone is, someone that you really love walks into the room, all that is coming from the subconscious mind. And our deep beliefs about ourselves, the world, your neighbor, your boss, your friends, your relatives, siblings, parents, in-laws, all this, some things are written in childhood and long before even we knew how to talk, long before even, what kind of language we should speak, right? So all that has been forming in the subconscious mind. So the upstairs room, like I said, is roughly the processing capacity of, let's say, a handheld calculator, whereas the basement is as good as a supercomputer. There's that much of processing that goes on in the subconscious mind. So clearly, what if the most important work isn't done by the thinking mind or even thinking harder or all the positive thoughts you say, okay, you wake up every morning and you say, I'm going to have a day full of only positive thoughts. I'm going to think only positive things. Great. Your conscious mind has told you that. But the subconscious mind is pulling that back, right? based on all the patterns and all that. So this is where the challenge is for most of us. So let's look at how can we change that. This is a number, this is a research done, and they say that it's called as the 47% problem. The 47% problem is that a lot of times we are physically present in conversations. Somebody is telling you something, they're sharing about what happened the previous day. You are there physically, but mentally absent, right? And many a times, because of this, friends, relationships erode. Because over a period of time, they do observe that you're there physically. They're telling you a lot of things about what happened in their life, their family, their day, their work, their friends, and we are not there. And slowly, that relationship sort of erodes, and we don't even notice it, right? The other part that they say is the decision making, is that half of our thinking happens on autopilot. We are not really even, morning we wake up, put on our clothes, dress up for work. We are either catching a bus or a train or whatever commute that we're taking. It's all happening almost in autopilot mode, right? So the choices we make, are distracted and, rarely reflects the actual values or goals, values of, appreciating the relationships at home or at office, or, even your colleagues who travel with you to work, all that. And eventually what happens is, in life, you'll reach the end of the week, you reach the end of the year, and wondering where the time went. A whole year goes by, a whole calendar year, financial year goes by, and you're wondering, hey, what exactly happened? Where did all that time go? What happened to my intent of, starting my exercise or starting meditation or starting whatever you set out to do? Doesn't happen, right? So this is a reality with all the distractions that we have in life right now, dear friends. So let's now come back to whether it's the 47% of the problem, or whether it's the subconscious mind or the conscious mind. How do we correct that? And that's where really this meditation or the practice of meditation comes in. Now, this is not, when we talk of meditation, it's not about, I want to be really clear, we are not talking about anything that is magic or, something very mystic. Clearly, there are proof points. We've seen in our earlier session also, and we'll see today how the biology of meditation helps with the neuroplasticity. Now, what is this neuroplasticity? So they say our brain is like literally like plastic, right? And the neurons that are there, they say that the neurons that wire together, fire together, wire together, right? So for a long time, meditation was viewed as something that is just a spiritual practice, or, like I said, something mystical. But in the last probably 15 years or so, or probably 2 decades, there are clearly proven research points that it is not. Yeah. So neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to reorganize itself. And, I'm going to turn my phone off. Sorry about that. Yeah. So when we engage in meditation practice, slowly, the brain sort of, grows in different ways and shrinks in certain ways. And we'll come to that. So before we go into meditation again, I want you to see, understand this. So what is the conscious mind? What is the subconscious mind? For those of you who joined us late, and I can see some of you have just joined, I just want to quickly go back to the previous slide to explain this to you, that if you look at the conscious mind as, let me go back to the previous one for those who've just joined. So the conscious mind is just like a tip of the iceberg. It's only 5% of what we think. The conscious mind is what we think, the analytical mind, the logical mind, what we plan every day, what we set out to do every day. But the subconscious mind, which comes with different patterns of all old history, etc., and old beliefs, emotional responses. You've seen somebody in the office who you don't like at all, and the next time you meet that person somewhere else and you still remember the same thing, right? So your response to that person on how to even go say hello or not to go say hello, everything is based on what has happened earlier in your interactions with that person. So again, so coming back to what we were discussing, so this is there is clearly proven by neuroscience that this helps with the balanced mind. We will look at what happens at the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala and all of that. But just wanted to set the context right, that meditation is not mystical. Meditation is that part that is between that will help you work on your subconscious mind. That will help us to reprogram our thoughts in our subconscious mind, so that whenever you put that positive thought out using your conscious mind, meditation will help you to reprogram with your subconscious mind. Yeah. So with that context, let's just do a little bit of meditation, and then we're going to come back and talk about what happens to the brain. We'll hear some of them share their experience on what happened when it comes to whether it's creativity with brain functions, etc., after meditation, right? And what meditation did for them. So for this, dear friends, I would request you to bring your headsets if you don't already have. We spoke about it last time also. You'll enjoy the music. You'll enjoy the guided meditation better when you have your headset on. And the process of going into meditation is very simple, the breath mindful meditation. So we'll practice that. Sit comfortably and wherever you're seated. Doesn't necessarily need to be cross-legged or doesn't necessarily need to be sitting on the floor, but try and be, sit a bit erect. And again, it doesn't have to be very straight. Take the support of your chair, right? And as shown in the right side of the picture, just, interlock your legs. This is just to ensure that the energy circuit stays. And clasp your hands and rest it comfortably on your lap. And then you shut your eyes, take off your smartwatch so that there are no more alerts, and take off your glasses if you're wearing spectacles. Yeah. And now what we'll do is we'll play some light music with guided meditation. So just observe your natural breath. You will shut your eyes in that, posture that we spoke about, and just observe. When I say observe, it is just following your natural breath. It's, following the in breath through any part you can take as point of observation. It could be at the tip of your nose. So you inhale and you exhale as natural form. Just follow your breath. Just notice how your breath is moving going in and coming out. So when we say observe your breath, that's exactly what it is. It's as simple as that. Don't try and control it. There's no deep inhalation or exhalation. This is not pranayama, not what we do in yoga. So this is just simple observation. Yeah. And if you notice thoughts, now we spoke about this in our last class, right? That the mind, the monkey mind, right? So there will be thoughts will come and thoughts will jump from one thought to the other. But every time you notice that you're thinking about something, bring your attention back to your breath. Yeah, simple. It's a bit of a tango dance, but with practice of meditation every day, you will get it. Yeah, so be with us for this, and we'll play some light music and we'll get into meditation.
going into powerful group meditation. We are going into breath mindfulness meditation with your eyes closed, fingers crossed into each other. Rest your hands comfortably in your lap. Observe your normal, natural in-breath and the out-breath. Our goal is to empty the mind. When we observe our breath, the mind becomes empty. No forceful inhalation and no forceful exhalation. Be with your breath. Become one with that in breath and the out breath, and allow yourself to slowly become empty of all thoughts in your mind. It is natural to have thoughts. When you recognize your thinking, go back to observing your breath and allow yourself to slowly become empty. As your mind is becoming empty, allow yourself to experience the total emptiness inside of you, all around you. The longer we are in this emptiness, the more we channelize that energy into our generous present moment, the more we develop mindfulness, and the more we allow our body to function at its natural best. Merge into your breath, merge into that emptiness all around. As your mind is becoming empty, allow yourself to experience that emptiness, that blackness, where there's no body, where there's no thing, in no place and no time. All emptiness is energy. This is the field of infinite quantum field of energy. yourself to stay connected to this emptiness, that void, as you merge into your breath. The more you are in this emptiness, the more clearer you become, the more intuitive you become. Friends, at this time, I would like you to express gratitude to all things and everybody. Gratitude is the high state of receivership. Give thanks to your parents, your teachers, your mentors, your family, your friends, your colleagues, everybody in your life. Can you express gratitude to this grand nature, the bird, the fish, and the animals? Be grateful to everything you use, the technology, the systems, the companies, the government that support you. Your gratitude to yourself and to this intelligent universe for helping us experience life more. Slowly recollect your experiences from this session, and whenever you're ready, you'll keep your hands on your eyes for 5 seconds, and then you may open your eyes.
Can you hear me now? So I'm sure that was good. The sheer sitting in stillness, quiet, just being by yourself. That brings a lot of energy, right? Great. Now, during the practice of meditation, when you sit down and meditate, sometimes there are different kinds of experiences. Today was a short one. We just did 15 minutes. But when you do for a longer period of time, the experiences are different. Some people feel the body is swaying, some see colors, some have some intense pain, some part of their body. Some people feel heaviness, some people feel lightness. Is, every experience is an experience. So it doesn't mean that if someone who's not had any experience at all, who's just seeing, black and blanking out, that that, that's a good experience or a bad experience. So don't think too much about it. Don't think about, you've had these thoughts coming in your head and you couldn't sit still. Doesn't matter. Practice this every day. Over a period of time, you will master this art of actually observing your thought, knowing that there is a thought, and not reacting to the thought. Yeah. So why did we say that this meditation is that door between your conscious and subconscious mind? Is, as we said, subconscious mind is building on a lot of those patterns that were already there. I'll give you an example for I earlier days, I couldn't really read a book continuously. I'd start to read and then I'd fall asleep, or I'd start to read and for some reason I just wouldn't be able to complete the book or even go through, the important parts of the book. And every time somebody would ask me to, would suggest a book, I would think, no, books are not for me. But with the practice of meditation, that's one of those beliefs, right? That's one of the things that's going on in your subconscious mind. Conscious mind is saying, yes, read the book. But the subconscious mind knows that, I'm going to pick up this book and either fall asleep or it's not going to interest me. But with the practice of meditation, now not only, am I able to read better, but also absorb better, soak in what is being told, so it's become a pleasure to actually go and read books now. So this is just one example. It could be many such patterns that have been built over a period of time. Now, especially in workplace, certain scenarios, or let's say if you have to go give a presentation, or you're working on a software project and you've got to talk about it to your manager, and you know how well you've done it. You've built that product. But when it comes to time in terms of standing in front and explaining what you've built, many sort of feel nervous and feel not very confident, again because something that you've done in the past, one time when you made the presentation, maybe there was some goof up and that's programmed in your mind. So meditation sort of makes it very collective and makes it, and we look at some of these the neuroscience part of it once again today. So the impact on the conscious mind, that's the neocortex region. So this is the conscious mind, right? So as we were speaking with all, whether it's your sensory perceptions, whether it's your speech, smell, hearing, all the motor controls, the touch, taste, body awareness, all that, reading, everything, right? That is on the neocortex region. That's the conscious mind. With meditation, there have been, and the research papers are out there. You can go and look at, Harvard neuroscience scientists and others as well. So with practice of meditation, there is increased thickening of, the gray matter in the prefrontal cortex, etc. So this is one thing that is this thing. And again, now when you look at what happens to the meditative brain, we saw this last time also. So the prefrontal cortex, as I said, which is the commander, which helps you with better decisions, all that impulse control and rational thinking, all this definitely does improve. And the one that I was talking about, reading the book, etc. So that's the hippocampus. It improves your memory, learning, retention, all the spatial reasoning, all this improves. And the best part is when the amygdala shrinks. Again, we spoke about this last time, and I wanted to talk about it this time also, is that the amygdala is a little almond-shaped thing in your brain, which you can see in the picture on the right. And this is where that's your fear center. So all that, confidence and being scared of not having this confidence while presenting, in to a large audience, or feeling shy to talk in a meeting, all this. So, and it could be anything. It could be, the fear of flying, it could be anything. So all that amygdala sort of shrinks. Like I said, the amygdala is the fear and stress center. It's the alarm system that triggers all these fight or flight mode. We also spoke about this, right? So when an event happens, the body sort of, whether you sort of react or respond to it, is the critical part, right? And that's where again meditation helps with you responding to a situation rather than reacting to a situation. And we also spoke about the default mode network on the hippocampus side. So sometimes, remember the rumination center we talked about last time. So the rumination center, which keeps on, running in a loop. So meditation, we saw how last time that there's a significant decrease in that default mode network activity. So these are some of the benefits that come with meditation. And we were talking about this stimulus and response. There is this, it's like a pause button. Some event has happened, but instead of just reacting, immediately to that, you respond. It could be as we spoke again, whether it's an email or somebody has told you something, and you, instead of sort of reacting to that, you think about it. There is a pause, and meditation sort of widens that gap between the stimulus and the response. And that is really important. And I can personally say, for me, over a period of time, I used to be a little short tempered, not really think about what I was saying. But now with meditation, so I won't say the anger and all goes off, but when it starts, when it's rising, there is something happening in your body. You're thinking irrationally. So you're able to pause when you see what's happening in your body, right? So all this is so important. So again, meditation widens the gap between stimulus and response. So definitely do try talking about, meditating.
Yep.
Okay.
It was exactly that. In 1968, the Beatles went to India and they meditated. And then I heard about it. And then in 1969 in New York, you can bring some flowers and you could do that and you could learn how to meditate. And wow, I recommend, it's the best gift I could give.
You do it every day or every?
Almost yeah. I try to do it every day. I try to do it about twice a day. And if I could take a second to describe it, what it is it frees your mind of thought. And it takes you from a conscious state into your subconscious. And your subconscious is where creativity comes from, and and all of that. Like if you're calm and great ideas come to you. And when you have that equanimity, then as you're approaching everything, things are just the way they are, and you have to deal with them. And it's a little like being, in the ninja movies, it's a little bit like being the ninja, and everything seems slower and you can handle it better. And you align your subconscious, which is where the emotions and also inspirations come from, with your conscious mind. And when they're aligned and you have that equanimity, it's a great thing.
We have one more. These are some real life examples.
Some client meetings. So in one particular client meeting, as you know, from the corporate world, we all do a lot of preparation. We have tons of slides. Your boss reviews the slides, make sure you talk the right thing, and then you tell the team this is what needs to happen, right? As I walk to the meeting, the account manager tells, Sai, this particular client is a very tough client. And he says, in the past, we've had several meetings with him, and none of us came out unscathed. You always used to point questions. You always used to ask questions that we couldn't answer. So I said, in my calm nature, I said, okay. And then we went into the meeting. And then when I asked customer, okay, here is what I'm planning to cover, but is there something that you want to know? And then he told me a topic on one of the pain points. and my slides did not have that at all. So we are also structured to following the slide format, right? But then magic happened. So I just walked to the whiteboard and then I started talking about the topic. So I obviously I knew some of it, and then some of it magically happened. And so I just walked to the whiteboard without using slides. I was able to cover the entire 1 hour of the 1.5 hour of the presentation, and literally no questions, right? And towards the end, he said, "This is exactly what we wanted to hear. And this is something that we've been wanting to hear from your team for the last few months." And I said, "Thank you," right? And then later, the account manager came, he got the feedback, and then he came and running and said, "This is the first meeting that person did not ask a question." He clearly communicated that he really wanted, he understood how things were, right? He understood what we can provide him in that particular context. And later we really won. He became a big champion. We won a big deal from that customer. It was an insurance client in North America. As we start believing in ourselves, as we start calming our mind, we get connected to the universal mind. We connect it to the one mind, which starts helping us. So you get into the flow, you become coherent with what the universe wants to help you with. And I think that's another fundamental principle of manifestation as well.
Great, you heard that from two different people, and there are multiple stories like this. Yeah. So clearly, what happens with the subconscious brain? So we were talking about whether we can alter this or reprogram the subconscious brain. So as you saw that with meditation, definitely that can be done. But what really happens with that is this. First is the metacognition reset that happens. So it's that mind observation. It's a thinking about the thinking. So that reset happens. Second is, as we said, there are patterns that are already there, right? So the pattern interruption happens. There's a reset in that pattern interruption with meditation. So it definitely helps you with breaking the old habits. Yeah. So there is, as you can see in the picture, there's a reroute of old habits. Easily can be broken. And for building new habits, of course, it helps in that as well. But the third, the most important thing that happens here is that there is a nervous system safety reset happens. So basically, it is saying that, it's calming the mind-body connection. So it's saying that, you are able to regulate your stress, and it's saying that it's safe now. You can control it. You can manage what is stirring up here. So these are some very, very important things that come up with meditation, dear friends. And this is how your subconscious mind, the one that is, invisible, the one that is this really huge in scale about, things that you can't, things that are programmed, right? These can be reprogrammed. Yeah. So that 5% of conscious mind can be increased gradually, and the subconscious mind, which is controlling 95% of your thoughts, can be reprogrammed. So this is one of the essential parts. In summary, I will say that you're not entirely your conscious mind, as we learned about it today. And you cannot bully your subconscious mind to say that, hey, I wanted to do this, and why are you not letting me do that, right? So meditation, brings out a lot of, like I said, first it increases the metacognitive awareness that we saw, right? So meditation helps you with all this. Not only that, immediately you will start seeing a lot of difference. One is, of course, your sleep pattern. Most people who have started and following this simple technique, which we just did, most people report that they are sleeping more deeply. So again, whether you're working in a smaller organization, working at home, working in larger organizations, these days with all the digital cognitive overload that we all have, sleep is becoming a a commodity that is really hard for all to have, right? So with meditation, and of course it has to be sustained. No? I'm saying at least about 6 to 8 weeks is what you should practice. It doesn't matter how long you practice it for. It needn't always be an hour or even 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes is good to start with. So these are some of the points that you should look at, friends. I think we are coming to the end of the hour. So you're not entirely your conscious mind. You cannot bully your subconscious mind. You can reprogram your subconscious mind, that's for sure. And meditation helps you to do that. And one of the key things that you should walk away today is that your brain is not a static object. We saw in the earlier slide that the brain is like a plastic thing. So there's neuroplasticity. The more you meditate, the better you'll be able to, rearrange the things in your brain, and the neurons fire better, and you will be able to reprogram your subconscious mind. Now we have this app, which is, now, like I said, for this, you have to have a sustained practice. Sometimes a tool helps you with this sustained practice, and that's where this PowerOfTheMind comes in. This is an app, which is a very loaded app. It has lots of programs. It has wisdom. It has many features. It has music tracks, of course, and you can schedule your meditation, all that. The standard ones are there, but all the programs and the wisdom that we are talking about is all neuroscience based. It's quantum physics based. Last week we did something about we saw how quantum physics it comes in, and how you're able to connect to the quantum field with meditation, right? So this app is very useful. So it's designed for leaders, teams, individuals, seekers, name it. So do try and use this. For people who will be joining us for workshops after this, the app is free for 3 months. So this is one of the tools. And yes, let this also be part of your transformation journey. And this is where you can contact us, info@besupermind.com.